Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
Are you ready to level up your team skill development? Well, Ballology is here to support you in driving accountability and skill development. The Ballology app is more than just tracking. It's a resource for enhancing skills, knowledge, and mindset across your program. Join coaches all across the country using Ballology to simplify training and empower your athletes. Let's build consistency, accountability, and skill development together.
So standards and pillars of programs, and I think that's another way of saying culture. Obviously, it's important. We all have one that's going in this direction or it's going back. It's rarely or ever staying the same. What are some of those standards, pillars of your program?
Yeah, for us, we talk about habits make the man. And I think the biggest thing in our program is on the sign behind me: love and joy and toughness, right? I just think that for us, as I've grown as a leader, I really desire to do life with people that have similar love, joy, and toughness. Do you love hoops? Do you love competing? Do you love the people around you? Like, really love it. I used to think that I could take guys on a scale of 1 to 10. I could take a 3 to an 8 or a 6 to a 9. You know what I'm saying? And the longer I get into this, like, yes, you can have an impact, but if you don't love hoops, it's probably going to be a struggle to play in our program. If you don't love to compete at everything, you're probably not going to like the day-to-day. And if you don't love people well, then truthfully, it's going to be a struggle to build a family. And that's what we want to do, right? We're trying to build the best family that we possibly can. And I know that's a buzzword along with culture and society today, but that's so authentic in this program. My wife and I and our 3 boys, we don't have family for 1,500 miles. So my assistants are like my brothers, and my players are like nephews, sons, second cousins twice removed. You know what I'm saying? That they're just in it, like, this is who my boys see every single day and who they want to become. And so for us, if we're going to have that in our family and flip it, this is the marriage that my guys see. And so many of our guys come from broken homes that they've never seen a healthy marriage. And our marriage isn't perfect because we're people, but we take that responsibility super seriously of like, man, what is the best type of family that we can create? And we really came up with, man, this love, joy, and toughness. So I hit on love. Joy is a choice. I think joy sometimes gets misconstrued with happiness. But to me, when you're happy, it's because good things happen. And when you're sad, it's because tough things happen. You can be joyful throughout any stage of life. Some of the most joyful people I know have gone through chemo and cancer, have lost loved ones recently, have a life struggle where you would think, man, this person has no reason to be joyful, but their joy literally illuminates a room. And to us, that's what we talk about with our guys is, can you choose joy every single day? Are you a faucet or a drain? Are you adding life to a room when you walk into it, or are you draining from it? And we don't get this perfect because it's still a walk and a journey that I'm going through and that everybody goes through. But our guys really understand that's what joy means on a day-to-day. And then toughness is pretty self-explanatory. We want guys that are able to respond, not react. We want guys that are physically tough and diving on the floor for loose balls and taking charges and boxing out. But we also want guys that are mentally tough, that can move on to the next play and keep their confidence high. And I think as you get older, you realize that the EQ toughness, the emotional toughness of being able to let passion drive you without falling into the emotional trap of the roller coaster of life or a game is a big deal. So we focus on those 3 things. We preach those 3 things. I've never been a fan of like our 9 pillars of success because I can't remember 9 things. So I think our guys really
Dumb and Dumber. He's like 7-minute abs, no, not or whatever.
You can quote Dumb and Dumber. I would love this podcast even more because at one point in high school, my best friend and I put that thing on mute and went through the entire movie.
I just butcher it though. What was it?
I'm not going to say you did because it's your podcast, but let's maybe cut that out and redo it again.
6-minute abs. 6. You can't get anything done in 6. Anyway.
It's along those lines.
I got nothing.
But yeah, that's To us, love, joy, toughness, it isn't a Twitter phrase. It isn't just on shirts. It is a way that we run our program, that we run our lives. And I think that ultimately helps build faithful husbands and loving fathers, which I feel like I'm called and placed on this earth to do.
Man, a couple things there that I really love is, one, you said because of the standards you have, not everybody can make it. Not everybody can be a part of it. And I think that's a great goal for us. If we do have turnover, if we do have guys that decide this isn't for us, have it be because your standards are so high. Your standards are stretching them to an uncomfortable level. And maybe they're realizing some faults or some ways that they're lacking in their life. And they can choose in that moment to get on board, to let go, to let those walls fall and get on. Or they can say, this is too much. This isn't what I'm about. But the high standards are great. But I think so many times we look at it more of, guys can't hack it here because it's so physically tough. We run guys into the ground. We coach so hard. And I think I kind of push back on that feeling of this isn't a serious environment unless they're throwing up, there's fear, and always showing up with a level of like, what's about to happen next. I think when your standards are high, when you're trying to hold people to things like that, love, joy, especially those first two, you're gonna get friction from some that, and maybe it's probably not their fault. They didn't grow up in that type of environment. I was used to a coach that, and we talked at the beginning, that it was very much a Bobby Knight style environment, and not maybe the good things about Bobby Knight you hear, but the bad stuff. And then Coach Drew comes in and he's all smiles and he's talking about joy and love. And I was very resistant to that. Like, Coach, I don't really care about that. How are we going to win against what we're up against? But I don't know, Coach. I just thought about that. I think standards that are high, if there's friction from players and they feel like they can't get on board with that, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I think there's two things that I really like when you dissected that. One is friction can be really good and conflict can be really good if the standards are understood. Like, this is who we are. I'm not even talking as a player. I'm talking as a man, because Mark Batterson, one of my favorite authors, talks about it's not about what we're doing. It's about who we're becoming. And that's why I love coaching college basketball, because you are taking young men, and by the time they leave, like, this is their last moment to be poured into on a daily basis. And so who are you becoming? Because that trajectory is normally what you end up continuing on for the most part. And so friction over conflict over high standards is awesome. But I think when there's fear involved, that's when you have a slippery slope of like, why are they actually doing this? I think parenting,
or transactional.
Yes, exactly. Same way. I think parenting and coaching have so much in common. If your kids are doing something out of fear, then they're probably not desiring to be the type of dad that you have shown them, right? I want to be the type of leader and type of coach, and I want to have the type of family in our program that all of our guys leave and go, man, yes, the standards were high, and yes, the expectations were high, but the affirmations were equally high. And the desire to be together as a team, whether you're in the gym or the weight room or the locker room or the living room of Coach Boom's house, like, we wanted to be there, because if people want to be where you are, man, that shows the power of that love and that joy. Like, you are the company you keep. And so I think you can do it with discipline, but without fear.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a documentary that I haven't watched yet, but a coach was telling me about the Blue Angels and all of the things that they go through. It's basically like a season. They have their training and then they have their competitions, and you're talking life and death. I mean, high risk with everything that they're doing, but their mantra is happy to be here. Even on the hardest days, happy to be here. Talk about another t-shirt idea, right? Or just a mantra of that. Guys, it's a 6 a.m. Like, we do morning workouts here because volleyball has it after school. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'll be here, and a few of the guys will show up. It's not mandatory. But I think the whole idea is, even at 6 a.m., happy to be here. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else through the good times or the bad times. After a loss, Saturday morning practice, happy to be here. I think you can, if you start to create that type of environment, that has staying power, right? Like, through those tough times. And one thing about the friction and then maybe even a player choosing to leave. Obviously, I think you feel the same way. We would love more time to work with them to see if we can plant more seeds. But years ago, I had a player here and we're a Christian school, and when people come here, students and families, the idea is that they're already believers. That's kind of the commitment. So it's not a come as you are and we're going to teach you some things and make a decision before you graduate or whatever. That's not a bad mission. That's just not what we are. You're already this, and we're going to develop you more. But occasionally people slip in. It may be in junior high or elementary school or whatever, or say the right things. But I had a player that just seemed, coach, to be against everything that we were selling. And just culturally, sometimes within basketball too. And there's just that friction every day. And I told my wife, I was like, I don't feel like I'm getting through to him. And she's gave me this great reminder. She said, Matt, like, it's not your job to save him. Like, you're not going to save him. And that's not, even if you don't believe in what Christ can do for us, the idea that we can turn everybody, bring everybody from a 3 to an 8. But what we have to believe and trust in is that what we are telling them, the good things, the seeds that we're planting, we might not see that. But when they're 24, 25, 28, and they have that click moment, it goes back to something that they heard us say. And that's that coaching paycheck that you get all those years later from them.
Yeah, I agree completely. That's, to me, when people are like, oh, did you have a successful year? All that kind of stuff. How'd you do? And I know our wins and losses. I'm an NCAA Division II coach, and I'm super fortunate and I'm grateful. Our resources may not be the same as the teams we're competing against, and not everybody knows that. But I think it's so easy to judge coaches by the W and the L column. I really believe we are not going to be fully judged until 50, 60 years down the road, when you see what kind of husbands, what kind of dads, what kind of leaders, what kind of influential, impactful, invitational people that we have built. Because I have it written on my desk, and it reminds me every day, how do you define success? And it's easy to get lost in the wins and losses, which do matter. They matter a lot. But I think that's ultimate success is when you see your guys just making a difference. And everybody talks about that, but weddings and when new babies are born and reunions and stuff, like, that is the greatest. That is better than any game I've ever coached. And I'll double down on that any day of the week.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.